You've learned a lot in life, and your passion is public speaking, whether it's on a stage, online, voiceovers, a podcast, a trainer, and you've been looking for info on how to take it to the next level. This is Speaker Show and Tell. We're a weekly show that features interviews with successful speakers and experts, and you'll get tips, tricks, and strategies to improve your speaking skills and the business of speaking. You'll get actionable advice you can use right now, and you'll get inspiration from pros who've done it. Pros that have gone through the struggles just like you and created massive results. Let's do this. Welcome to Speaker Show and Tell. And now your host, Sabrina Gibson.
Are always bringing you guests that are phenomenal. And today I'm so excited. I mean, as a speaker, we all want to get booked. We want to be put on stages. And we did an episode about TEDx speakers, and it was so over the top requested that we decided to do it again. But this time we thought we would do it slightly different and bring you on a guest that has done it 3 times. Yes, he's been on the stage of TEDx 3 different times. This guy's over the top. He's a speaker trainer. He actually shows speakers how to get booked all the time on stages. He's a master resilience implementer, a suicide awareness trainer, international radio show host, and a 2-time best-selling author. I'm so excited about our guest today because you're going to learn so much from Sean Douglas. I'm so excited to have you, Sean. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you, Sabrina?
I'm always doing great.
Good.
I was loving it this morning. I was watching your TEDx, the one that talks about how you can hack your brain.
Mm-hmm. That was 2017.
What is it? 2017?
That was 2017, my first one.
Oh, man. It was so good. I loved it. I was like, yes. I've been really into affirmations. We did another show about mindset. And so I thought that was really cool. Well, I want to talk to you because I don't know anyone else that has been on TEDx 3 times yet. But so tell me, how'd you do it?
Well, the key to getting on TEDx is to have a talk that's moldable to multiple themes. Every TEDx talk has a theme. And so if you want to talk about real estate, health, wealth, there was somebody I was talking to the other day, and they said, well, I've tried to get on TEDx, and the person that was coaching me, the person that was helping me said, you'll never get on TEDx with this topic. I said, well, what's the topic? It's like, well, it's manifesting. And I was like, oh, no. I Googled TEDx manifesting, and like a whole page of manifesting in the title from like 2019 all the way to 2022 came up on the Google search. I screenshotted it, sent it to her. I said, now, do you want to work with me, or do you want to keep on working with that same person? And so, I mean, there's a lot that TEDx takes, but they don't take religion and they don't take politics, which is great because I don't talk about either. And so if you want to get on TEDx, you have to have a talk that is moldable to fit multiple themes. And that is literally how you get on TEDx. So you have to start out your TEDx talk with a startling story, a startling fact, or a startling discovery. One of the TEDx talks that I was at, the guy was like, 100% of you will die. That is a fact. And it was like, oh crap. And then my friend Julie, who I coached through her TEDx talk, she has 2 TEDx talks that I coached her through and helped her get booked for those talks. And she starts out with, I used to eat out of trash cans. Whoa. But before I get into that story, I want to tell you this one. And then she paused like really long. And you can see the audience like, but she just said she's like the trash cans. like you got to leave them hanging. You hit them in the first 5 seconds, right? Startling story. Or a startling discovery would be something like, I was rehabbing a house and found $1 million worth of pennies. Now, before I get into that story, the pennies means, and then you just go into this whole thing, like you made a discovery. Like I was digging in my backyard, or I found out through science, like you find this crazy discovery. So you have to have a startling fact, a startling story, or a startling discovery. My first TEDx talk was when I talked about my suicide attempt in 2008. The second one was virtual, just like this. It was all virtual. So you didn't really have a red carpet, but you had a TEDx background. And I just gave like a startling fact. And then my third one was how to stop veteran suicide. And I said a percentage of veterans will take their life today. And I just left it. And that was like a startling discovery, or like a startling fact. And it hooks them in the first 5 seconds. If you don't hook somebody in the first 5, 7, 10 seconds, your talk isn't going to be good.
When you say that, that's a good piece of advice for any speaker on any stage. Yeah, I always say that you got to grab them from the minute you walk on that stage. You better own it and command the attention, and then keep it through the entire thing. And really the way that you do it, I mean, for me, it's like, I've always started off with a startling topic as well. Not quite like everyone's gonna die though.
No, that
I
was
like
crazy.
that one. I mean, it's a fact, right? We all know it, but it's not like we would think it. I mean, that's
I don't want
pretty.
to be reminded of it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, most speakers, when they walk on stage, they go, "Hi, how are you? Thanks so much for having me. I'm so
Yes.
honored. Here's a little bit about me." And then you waste 5 minutes talking about yourself, and nobody cares.
No one cares.
Literally nobody
They
cares.
don't care at all. Yeah, and really, you've been introduced at that point. So that's the craziest thing. We were talking about this. I went to go speak at a speaking engagement, not quite like TEDx, but I got vetted for like 3 years before I got on the speaking engagement, right? And the lady introduced me, and I happened to be pregnant at the time. And I told her, I said, "Hey, listen, I'm pregnant. I'm having a hard time breathing," because I was 8 months pregnant. It was like huge.
Oof.
And so she was very kind. She said, "And if you probably noticed that she has a bump, And when I got on stage, I said, "I just want to let everybody know this is not a bump. This is a beer belly." And because 9 months ago or 8 months ago, my husband had 2 beers, and now I have this belly, and so
Oh, that's
everyone
funny.
just died laughing. But the whole point is like, I just wanted to, and I just said, "Hey, listen, I'm having a hard time. I'm not going to go into labor, but I am having a hard time getting my breath, because I was just the whole time."
Right.
But it is interesting to speak. And I think that's the other thing. When we speak, we have to address the big elephant in the room, like state the most uncomfortable thing you can state. Technology goes wrong, address it. Right. So talk to me about TEDx. So how did you actually get on the stage?
Well, I knew what I wanted to talk about, veteran suicide. The first one, as a resilience implementer, I was leading the Air Force program from 2015 to 2019. And in 2016, I wrote my first book, started professionally speaking. I was a drill instructor from 2009 to 2013. I was getting booked at high schools, colleges, speaking at Air Force events. I mean, it was amazing, but I was never paid. And then in 2016, I said, okay, I'm tired of this. I have got to get paid to speak. Like, I have to figure this out. Then I started speaking at a couple conferences. I wrote my first book. 2017, I started my radio show, Life Transformation Radio, which I sold in 2021. After 476 episodes, I sold the radio show. And I said, okay, in 5 years, because from 2017 to like 2021 would have been 5 years. I said, in 5 years, I will be a TEDx speaker. I said that in 2016. In 2017, I said, okay, never mind, 3 years. I'm going to narrow it down to 3 years. And after like, I don't know, 9 the first year, like 13 the second year, I finally got it in December of 2017 at TEDx Wilmington Salon. And the theme was building community through relationships or something like that, or building community through innovation or something like that. And I just told him, I was like, I want to talk about how to hack your brain for success. And I'm going to use fact-based positive psychology research studies to back up like everything I'm going to say. And they absolutely loved it. It was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And I got to go on first. That was nerve-wracking. And another friend of mine spoke at the same event, and he went on last. and we just happened to be from the same group and same network. And it was a great event. And so Hack Your Brain for Success, my first TEDx talk, was about fact-based positive psychology research studies that have been scientifically proven to grow your brain in the resilience area and the positivity area and the gratitude area. And it's all under the hippocampus. The hippocampus area of your brain has been shown to actually grow bigger when you use certain principles. And that's all I talked about. And then I tied it into how to build a community around these principles.
That's amazing. Okay, so I love the way that you stated this. You said that every TEDx has a theme. If you Google it, whatever your topic is, you can find it. And then on top of it, you had the startling fact, which I love that you started off. Everyone starts it off with this startling fact, right? And then you also put together this research behind it. So did you have the research before it, or did you just add that in?
Yeah, because I was already using it in my resilience workshops.
Wow, that's interesting.
And I'd already mastered the techniques, and I already mastered the research. And I was doing 3-day seminars like every other month.
Wow. But you had already hacked your brain to say that you're going to do a TEDx. So part of it's mindset, just to say, hey, I'm going to hack my brain and say that this is what I'm doing. And I just listened to your TEDx this morning on Hack Your Brain, and I was like, wow, this is really good. I really enjoyed it, and I loved your story. And obviously, you and I were talking about this before about being suicide survivors, and not to go too dark on the show, but you and I both are suicide survivors, which I think is an under talked topic, especially with COVID happening. I just think that people are really, and by the way, anyone listening here, if you feel that way, just know that that there's other choices, that whatever you're telling your brain is a lie. You are good enough. You're amazing. If you need help, please reach out to somebody, because I can tell you, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I'm here. Grateful to be here. And it's not that we don't struggle with those thoughts, because life can be kind of difficult, right? But to hack it with I love the whole positivity thing. My mom was like the most positive human being on the face of the planet. And I was really grateful to have her my entire life. And she passed away in 2020. And that was really hard. It was really hard for me. Even though she was 81. I mean, she lived a full life. But
still young.
It is interesting, to just hack your brain, to have that positivity, and you don't have that person around you anymore. And she lived with me most of my life, and so it is crazy. The gratitude part, I love that part of your talk. I thought that was really good. So can you use gratitude then to get into any speaking engagement? Does that work?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's just having the mental mindset of saying any talk that you want to go after. I mean, TEDx is I think the echelon, just tell me what kind of results you got from having TEDx, because TEDx was pretty amazing. So what happened after your first one?
Yeah. When I go to apply to places or people see it and they reach out hey, saw your TEDx talk, would want to interview you on my podcast, or hey, saw your TEDx talk, we're looking for a resilience trainer to come into our business or to our group or, wherever, to our event. We're looking for that type of speaker. Absolutely, I will. What is your budget and how much are you looking to pay speakers? Do you pay speakers? There's a whole host of questions. Some people say, never ask for the budget. I'm like, always ask for the budget, or I'll say well, what did you pay your speaker last time?
That's good. I love it.
Or I say do you pay your speakers? They're like, yeah, of course. I'm like, all right, well, I'll have what they had. And then one time I did that and I got paid $5,000. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
You weren't expecting it. That's so funny.
Yeah, I was like, I'll have whatever they had. I don't know how much I got paid. Could have been $500.
When did you go from being unpaid to paid?
When I said it, I wasn't going to speak for free anymore. And you could also speak for free. I was after TEDx.
After TEDx. Okay, cool.
Well, actually in 2017, I was getting paid $1,500, $2,500, but after TEDx, I was like, oh, now I'm premium. now I've made it, but
I
like you
love
can
it.
still speak for free. Like if you want to go speak at a high school or a college, you can still speak, but don't ever, ever, ever tell people you speak for free. First of all, I am speaking at this one location. So honored. Nobody knows if you got paid or not. But even then, if you talk to the event host or whoever books you, and they say, "Oh, we don't actually pay our speakers," like, I don't know if I want to waive my fee. I mean, I guess, I got to drive 30 minutes or an hour to this event. I could probably waive my fee. I do not speak for free, but for this event, I could waive my fee. That's what you tell them. I waive my fee. And like, I spoke at a middle school and they're like, we literally have no budget to pay speakers, but we really need a speaker for this assembly. And it was like an hour away. And I was like, you know what? For the students, I'm willing to waive my fee. And they're like, oh my gosh, thank you. I was like, but my fee is usually $5,500. And they're like, oh my gosh. So I let them know, like, hey, this is what I'm worth. But then they gave me like a gift card for like $100 and like some candy or gum or whatever it was. And then they referred me to other principals who have booked me for 1,000, 500, and I always say the same thing. I'm like, I'm not a free speaker, but maybe I'd be willing to waive my fee. Can you introduce me to other people? Or is there other places where I should be speaking? Maybe we can just do a referral where I'll waive my fee, but I really want to get booked other places. Can you talk to other principals or talk to the associations or talk to the teachers or talk to whoever? Can you get me booked other places? And I'd be willing to waive my fee. And then, yeah, absolutely. Like, awesome.
I love this. I love this so much because, as speakers, it's like we do get a lot of free speaking engagements. You can land free speaking engagements, but you got to know how you want to make your money on the back end. I went after I didn't even know I was doing this. I spoke for a realtor organization one time and they didn't have a budget supposedly, which I knew wasn't true actually. But I said to them, well, normally I charge $5,000 to speak, but I'll be more than happy to waive that for you guys this one time. And but what can we do in exchange? Like, is there anything else? And the same thing, it's like they were like, oh my God, $5,000, like I didn't even think it was that much. I thought it was kind of
Right.
acting low, but I thought, well, I'll just throw it out there. Well, I ended up getting exposed to their entire. She said, well, I guess what we could do is we could probably expose you to our database. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, yeah, we have like 10,000 people on our list. And I thought, oh my
Holy
gosh.
crap.
And so I said to them, I'll tell you what, how about if I'll do something even better for you. I will not only speak live for you for your engagement. What if we did a webinar and you could just market it? I'll give you all the marketing materials, everything. And so then you can do it, right? 2,000 people show up on a webinar. And I'm like, that was better than the live speaking engagement. And I got
Right.
to pay I had people just buying because they sent the email. Oh my God, I was just looking for somebody who could do what you did, right. But it was
Yep.
so cool. So it's amazing what you can tap into. I do believe, I love your whole gratitude thing too, because I do believe that there's a service that we can provide. I believe that givers gain, like the whole Ivan Meisner or whatever. I believe that like we show up to give first. And as speakers, I think we have a real big power to do that. And I do believe it comes back to you. I think that what you reap is what you sow. And if you keep putting good things out there, they always come back to you. And however, we still have to pay the bills to turn the
Right.
lights on our house and so that we can be in a position of giving. So there's nothing wrong with asking for things. And I love the fact that you do that. I want
Mhm.
to talk a little bit. I know that you train speakers to go on TEDx, and you had asked me before, hey, and I said, I don't even know what I'd speak on. And I just loved it. So how do you get people really clear about like what is a good TEDx topic to speak on?
It depends on what they want to talk about. Like, I don't know what I would even talk about. Well, what do you normally talk about?
Yeah, I love that
Like, it's
question.
just like, it's not another speaking engagement, but it's just a speaking engagement, right? I mean, it's just another event. Except this is the Super Bowl of speaking. So everybody gets like scared and like, well, what would I talk about? And how do the same things you always talk about, the same things you're an expert in? Like, it doesn't change. It's
I
just, you
think
got to
for me,
put
it's
more
like
emphasis behind it.
yeah, I think for me, what trips me up is what makes me so special. Everyone else talks about what I talk about in my mind. I know that's not true, but like, right, that as a speaker, that's what we think. We think, well, God, everybody else is speaking about how to increase your, how to do better networking. How do you network your way to millions, or how do you, whatever, like whatever. I feel like everyone talks about that, but I guess we're just not on.
But
But
nobody talks about it the way that you talk about it.
okay, I
You are
love
the
it.
differentiating factor. Your voice, your pitch, your tone, your inflection, your body language, the content, the way that you engage with the audience, which you can't do on TEDx, but the way that you engage with the audience, the way that you tell your stories. There's 3 questions every single business person, especially speakers, every single person should answer these 3 questions. The first question is, what are you willing to do more of than anybody else? What are you willing to do more of? Are you willing to do more pair and shares where people in the audience pair up, you play some music, and then after the 3 to 5 minutes, you ask them who wants to share? Do you do more audience engagement where you like play games with the audience, or do you give more content? Do you give more freebies that really isn't like a freebie, but like you do it in a way that is such high value? Like, who wouldn't want your program, product, or service, or whatever, your free trial or whatever it is? Second question is, what are you willing to do differently? If every single speaker gets on stage and says, "Hi, thanks for having me. Oh my gosh, I'm so honored to be here. Let me talk about me for 5 minutes." Like, what are you willing to do differently? Me, I do things differently. I walk on stage after I was introduced. I ask 3 questions, and the third one's always funny. Like, who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I say? Like, I answer a question like, "Who here? Cool, put them down." Other arm, "Who here? Cool, put them down." Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I say? It kills every single time. At the end of my talk, I say, most people go, blah, 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 blah. This is my talk, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for having me. And they're like, oh, he's done. Oh, okay. And they're like surprised that you're like finished or whatever. What I do is I say, as I close, which doesn't mean anything to you, but it gives the event planner hope that I'm almost done. Kills every time. Everybody laughs. Everybody looks for the event planner to see what their look on their face is. And I reiterate my message. I always open with 3 questions. Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I say? Ha 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 ha. My message for you today is, and then I give my message, 3 sentences. And then at the end, as I close, which doesn't mean anything, but it gives the event planner hope that I'm almost done. Remember what my message was. Whatever my 3 sentences are for my message of that day. Like, that's what makes me different. The audience engagement, the laughing, like the stories I tell, like that makes me different. And then the third question, and the most important question that any speaker or business person can ever answer is, how will I connect? How will I connect at an emotional level? People don't remember what you said. It's only about how you made them feel. And that is why speakers get booked over and over and over again, because you elicited a response that made them give you a standing ovation. And I cheat sometimes. Like, I'll say, like, at the end of my talk or whatever, I'm like, "Thank you for having me." And then I start clapping because I want them to clap. And then I go like this, like I outreach to the audience. I'm like, and sometimes they'll just stand up, like that's the point, but like I give it to the audience. I'm like, and then I start clapping with it, and it
I
like
love
makes them
it.
stand up and they're like, "Oh my gosh." And they're pointing like, "Yeah, you rock." But during my talk, I'll ask the audience, like I'll ask person like, "Who, whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, you, what's your name?" "Joe." Everybody say, "Hi, Joe." "Hi, Joe." And then he like does his thing, whatever he's going to say. And I'm like, "Cool, Joe, I want to give you some love. I want to give you some love for standing up and brave enough to answer my question live in front of this amazing audience." So here's what I do. We're going to give Joe some love. On the count of 3, we're going to clap once, snap once, and point at him very awkwardly and say, "You rock." Right? Clap once, snap once, point at him and say, "You rock." Ready? 1, 2, 3. "You rock." And it makes him feel good. I'm like, look at the face. Like, look. He's so happy. "You rock, Joe." Who else rocks? and then all of a sudden everybody stands up. I'm like, I'm going to give you some love, and it's like, that's how I connect. That's what makes me
That's
different
awesome.
is,
I love it.
is that this audience, this push and pull with the audience, and this engagement. And that's what makes me different. And that is how I connect with the audience. And then I'm leaving the event and they're like, you rock. I'm like, no, you rock, like it's so crazy. Like, you rock. And I've seen people months after an event that I spoke at another event that I'm speaking at, and they're like, dude, you rock. I'm like, you rock. And they're like, I remember your talk. And I'm like,
I
you
love
rock, And so people like, that's what I'm known for.
Yeah.
And I
That's really
learned
cool.
that from my mentor, John Vroman, who is one of the most amazing speakers I have ever heard. And that's, and he taught me, these different nuances as we coach together, and it just makes you an amazing speaker.
Yeah. It's interesting when you were talking there. I don't know if you've ever seen Joel Bauer. He's amazing. Anyway, he said, if you touch one, you touch them all. And so like you just putting out that, talking about this guy, Joe, in the audience, it's like you really just, everybody in that audience, you were really touching them, even though you were touching one. And I'd never thought about that before. Cause like as a parent, you never ever pay attention too much to one child, because then they all like, I made the mistake. A friend of mine is an amazing child development specialist. And I asked her if I could go work in her home day school a long time ago. And all of a sudden, all the kids were like glommering on me. And she said, uh-oh, you paid attention to one, didn't you? And I was like, right. And so I was like, what? And she's like, they all want your attention now. And I was like, she said, you just try to keep it like, that's why we always say boys and girls, or, and I was like, oh my goodness. But it's
wow, that's
kids are the
awesome.
opposite of speaking. So just in case anyone wants to know, don't try to treat
Seriously.
your audience the way you treat your kids, because
For sure.
it's not the same. But I love the whole like calling someone out by their name, giving them love. Like that is so awesome. So
Yep.
really, to get on TEDx is like you come with your own you own who you are. Like, I mean, we all are. We're so uniquely different. It's like every speaker I've ever seen is so uniquely different. We're not robots. We don't get up there and do the same thing. And I love the whole thing, like tell them what you're going to tell them, and then remind them what you tell them, right? But you're doing it in your own style. It's like,
Right.
like
Right.
the way you do it is like so uniquely different. And I think that's what's cool about you. And it's like what I'm realizing about myself is like we are so unique. I mean, there is nobody who speaks the way I do, even though like I've heard people say stuff and I'm like, man, that's the way I would have said it. And kind of, like it,
Right.
it sounds familiar, but and I
But
realized
your delivery is different.
yeah. Well, the delivery, and then like I'm an original thinker. I mean, like, and yes, have I borrowed from people before? Yeah, I have on some level, but I can tell you that my story is uniquely different because I failed my first year in business. And the way I speak about that is so uniquely different. And I've talked to other people who failed in their business, right,
Yep.
and recovered. And it's different. Their story is totally different. Like you and I were talking about being suicide recoverers, and we won't go there a whole lot, but your story is just so uniquely different than mine, right? And yet it's the same underlying cause as like what led us there, right? I'm just not good enough, or whatever pressed my button to get me there. But as speakers, I think we do the same thing. And I think we get in our head. It's like, I don't think that I'm that special, but that's part of me. I probably being humble, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I don't really know what that word means. I mean, that's kind of a joke, but right. Because they say if someone says, oh, I'm so humble, then it's like, yeah, you're not. But
yeah, you're not.
Yeah, you're not. But
That's awesome.
the whole point is that I think we all are so uniquely different. I love this whole thing about TEDx. I love the fact that you've really cracked the code when it came to TEDx, and the fact that you're coming back. And even though you came back to like hack your brain, but then you came back to talk specifically around veterans. So you're taking I'm assuming was a similar topic.
It was veteran suicide, like how to stop veteran suicide.
Oh.
But it wasn't the same content. I never used any of the same content, like gratitude, like, all that other stuff. I basically talked about what a veteran is, the statistics around veterans. If you've had PTSD, if you're a 9/11, post 9/11 person who went into the military, you are this likely to have some kind of, mental trauma, TBI, whatever. If you've been to Vietnam, you've got this. If you're Desert Storm, you've got this. This is your percentage, and then I basically talked about like what's going to stop like veteran suicide, and it's not going to be the VA, and it's not going to be like this other stuff, it's the sense of accomplishment. Like when you're in the military and you are done with that life, you miss the life. You may not miss that one commander or that one sergeant or the one guy on the team that you just really didn't like. You don't miss that stuff. You miss the camaraderie. You miss the brotherhood. And most veterans will go into isolation. And I literally just talked about behavioral analysis. This is what veterans experience. This is why they feel the way they feel. This is why some of them can't watch fireworks. This is why some of them can't do this. This is why some of them don't like big crowds. This is why, and I just basically went through the whole like core value system, how we go from basic training to tech school to our first duty station, the life of a military serviceman or woman. And then it's all over. And it's like, oh, I can't wait to retire. But then you retire, or you medically retire, or maybe you just do your 4 years and get out. But when you're a lifelong serviceman or woman, you've experienced things that other people can't experience. And therefore, who do we have to talk to? So therapy is good, but find a network, find a brotherhood, recreate the brotherhood in your civilian life. And that's basically like, we are going to save our own.
It sounds like a book title.
What?
Recreate the brotherhood in your civilian life. I mean,
that'd be a great book. That'd be an amazing
book.
I
think that would be. So is that your next book, Sean? Because like
actually, my next book is Positioning is Everything. That's the book I'm writing right now. Is Positioning is Everything, because I'm a business positioning strategist, and I'm going to turn it into a series. Like positioning is everything. Positioning is everything in business. Positioning is everything in podcasting. Positioning is everything in relationships. Positioning is everything in sex. Positioning is everything in teenage.
You got it all.
Like everything, like every single, like I'm going to be the chicken soup of positioning.
Oh my gosh, this is hot. I love it. I'm excited about that. Well, so let me ask you this. What would be like the three, you train speakers, which I love this as well. I mean, who better to do it? How many avenues of speaking have you done? You've done podcasting, you've done.
Okay. So I've spoken on live stages, obviously like conferences, TEDx. I spoke on podcast. I have 3 podcasts of my own. So I'm a guest on 50, 60 podcasts a year. I speak about 20, 25 times a year. So there's live stages, virtual stages, podcasts. I've been on TV, on the media. Wow. And then I've done like 3-day workshops. I've done, what was that other one that I did? It was, it was like a virtual, I mean, obviously like a virtual stage, but it was like a webinar. It was like a webinar, but like, it wasn't like a webinar. It was like a 2-hour workshop, but it was like virtual, but it wasn't like an event. It was just something that we did. And then we've done 5-day challenges. We've gone live every day for 5 days with 15 to 20 people in a Zoom group. We've streamed it live. And then, people who paid to like be in there, they got more content, and like we cut off the live stream. I'm like, all right, well, we're going to go only to the people who have paid. So if you want to join us tomorrow, like here's the link, and then you can join us tomorrow. So we do like the first 10 minutes free. And I was like, okay, we're going to cut away and we're going to go private now. But if you want to join us tomorrow for private coaching, come join us at this link and you get to stay the whole time. So if you like these first 10 minutes, come join us. It's like a tease. Like you got to get people in, you got to grab them. You know what I mean?
I love the fact that you've handled so many different areas. The people I love to learn from are the people who actually done it. And not the theory, like I don't like theorists. I like people who've done it. They can tell you exactly what to avoid, what to do, And I love the fact that you've done all aspects of this around speaking, because as a speaker, there's just a gazillion things you can do with your business. I mean, it's like there's a gazillion ways to make money, especially as a speaker. And I love the fact that you've done it and you're making money, and you can prove that you've done it and then teach it. So let me ask you this. What would you say? Let's talk about the speaker who's just starting. Maybe they've got a little bit of speaking under the belt, whatever. Where would you have them start?
I would have them start locally. So a good friend of mine once told me, speak nationally, sleep locally. So look for national media in your area. So whatever the TV shows, Good Morning California, or like whatever it is, like get on those TV shows, the morning shows or whatever. Get on national association events, so you could speak at national. It's coming to Las Vegas or whatever. You live in Las Vegas, or it's coming to Montreal or whatever. Like the National Bookkeepers Association. Actually, it was the National School Bookkeepers Association that I spoke to in Georgia. And the reason I got that one, and I don't even like live in Georgia, but I was living in North Carolina at the time, and they said, "Hey, we're having a regional meeting, and we're looking for a speaker." I'm like, I would love to speak there. I literally spoke at a laser tag facility for free, like for free. It was at a laser tag, and I was like, "Well, this is different." And then they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna pay for your 2 games of laser tag." I'm like, "Oh, I get to play laser tag for free?" I'm like, all right. And then everybody wanted to pair with me because they knew I was military, and there was like 2 other military dudes in there, in this group, and they're like, "We got to band together." I'm like, "Band of brothers," and like we destroyed everybody. Like it was so great. We destroyed everybody. And then we had such a good time, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna like nominate you to be at like our national convention." I'm like, "I'd love to. Like this group is awesome." And then I went down to Georgia like a couple months later for their National School Bookkeepers Association conference, and got paid like $3,500.
That's
All because I
hilarious.
placed a laser tag with like a regional meeting group.
I know the same thing happened with me. I think that what you're saying is so powerful, because you think that you're doing these local speaking engagements, but you have no idea that they have. I didn't even know to ask actually at the time. I only asked afterwards because some lady, after I spoke at their local event, said, "Hey, we happen to be doing a national thing. Would you like to go to Puerto Rico? And we'll pay you to go speak, right? We'll pay for your travel." And I'm thinking, "Hey, I'm getting a free trip out of this." But then I heard her say, "Wait, and we have a little bit of a budget for our speakers." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Right on.
So I didn't know what to ask. And so again, I did my whole, well, normally I charge. And I think I actually said 10,000 at the time because I wasn't sure how big their budget was. And she said, she's like, "Well, we don't have quite that big of a budget, but here's what we can do." So they threw in travel for my husband, which was like amazing. So I'm like, "Hey, we get a free trip to Puerto Rico." And he was excited about that. And I get paid. I mean, it was
right?
like,
That's
I get paid like
awesome.
3,500. And what was hilarious about the thing is that I guess no one brought their husbands or something, or it was all these, I don't know if they were single or what, but anyway, my husband was like the superstar because he was it was a woman financial, like whatever finance, a women of finance or something. Anyway, he was like the superstar. So we had a blast. Yeah, but we made connections like crazy. I mean, it was we had so much fun. But you're right. It's like, I love the whole idea. And I never thought about looking to see what events are. I mean, I live in Phoenix, for crying out loud. It's like
tons of them. Oh my gosh, there's tons of them.
Fourth largest, area, or fourth largest state in the United States, and it's a mecca. It's like a mecca, and then it's
in
hot.
Phoenix.
So
and my buddy Joe, wish I could remember his last name because I just know him as Joe, but he has the Genius Network.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
He's in Phoenix. And if you make like, I think it's like 100,000 a year or X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever, like you can join like the Genius Network, like 25K group, because you make like 25K a month or whatever it is or whatever. But like he hosts like all kinds of events, for the Genius Network.
Okay,
and I really wish I could remember his last name.
Don't you hate that? I've done it all the time. I'll have like the greatest friend ever, and I'll be like, "Yeah, it's Barb," and I can't think of her last name. I'll do that all the time. It's no big deal. I'll go with the Genius Network because that'll be easy. But yeah, that's really cool.
I guess I could just.
I mean, gosh, you are so full of ideas. I love this because as speakers, it's like we're always looking to get booked as speakers. And there's just all these really great little things that we can do that I think we overlook. Even like webinars, I never even thought about this. Someone told me that even when you're doing your own webinar, you put it out the fact that you speak for, like you'd love to speak at other people's events
Right.
online, right? In your
Right.
webinar. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally missed that one.
Yeah. Joe
So,
Polish, by the way, Joe
oh,
Polish
I
with
love
the
Joe. He's so cool.
Genius Network. Yeah.
I didn't know he was in Phoenix. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, Tempe, Arizona, or wherever's
Okay.
like where
Same
it's
thing.
at, but like he does all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff in Phoenix, him and
that's
his business
cool.
partner. So
I didn't realize he was in my backyard. There's so many cool. And that's the other thing I always tell people. I started a speakers networking group like in California, right? I didn't even know all these amazing speakers were in my backyard, and that was really cool. And then I started one in Phoenix, and man, it was like I couldn't believe how many. Because I started googling like speakers in Phoenix or whatever, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting on a mega network here just in Phoenix. I could do nothing but just leave. I mean, I could literally just interview the people here in my backyard.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because
I'm in
and the
Salt
great
Lake and
thing,
there's so many
oh, that's
podcasters in Salt
cool.
Lake. I'm like, holy crap, there's a ton of people.
That's so cool. That's really cool. Well, Sean, I love you. I hope we have you on lots of times because
Yeah.
you are a plethora. But for sake of time, how can people connect with you? Because you brought a really cool like a freebie, like a little gift for
I did.
people. Can you tell me about it? Because
Yeah.
I just am so excited about it.
Yeah. So if you want to reach me direct, Sean, SEAN, at the Success Corps, like Marine Corps, CORPS.com. And what I want to give to the audience, if you want to get booked to speak, you have to download this guide. I normally sell it for $47. I sell tons of them every single week, but I'm going to give the audience one for free. So go
What?
to
That's so cool.
bit.ly/get booked to speak. And the GBTS is capitalized. So if you're watching this, there's a link right there. But if you're audio, it's bit.ly/capital G for get, capital B booked, capital T to capital S speak, get booked to speak. Promo code is all caps, free, the number 4, and me. Free for me, the number 4. And that will allow you to download the speaker guide for free. And I have seen people get up to 12 extra speaking engagements a year just by following what I talk about in this guide. And this is my entire business model put into a guide. So if you can't get booked using this guide, you should probably not be a speaker.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I think that's a challenge. Everyone go download that guide. If you don't get booked to speak, come back and tell us. And then you need to work directly with Sean if you don't do that.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to work with you. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love this. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I totally I'm grateful. I don't even remember you and I saw you online and I was like, this guy, we got to have him on on our podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I just loved him. I just thought you're super cool. I've never met you before, which is really weird because
Yeah.
I always feel like I always feel like I know so many people, and then we have these amazing guests, and I'm like, where have you been? Where were you when I was speaking?
Well, you'll have to come on one of my podcasts.
I would love it. I totally would love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited. I definitely want to have you back because one of the funny things I got to tell the audience this is so funny. When I reached out to Sean, I said to him, hey, we have the speakers podcast and it's for professional speakers. I love what you're up to. And we'd love to have you on the show. And here's like 5 topics. And I've never had anyone say, yeah, I could do any of them. Just let me know. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? And so then I had to go back.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's cool. And then it took us a little while to get us
Yeah.
your schedule is busy. Our schedule is busy. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here. So again, like you have so many cool topics that I was like, what? That's so cool. So I definitely want to have you back. And I want to let everyone know, please go get I'm going to put it back up here. Please go get his freebie because this is really cool. I just took a look at it this morning. Again, it's bit.ly. So it's bit.ly/capital G. So it's get booked to speak, but then you capitalize each letter of each word. So get booked to speak. So capital G, capital B, capital T, capital S, and then make sure you use the promo code, which is free for me, and it's the number 4. So make sure you use that. Otherwise, it's not free. So he's literally giving you a gift here today.
Pay me
So make sure-
$47.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to spend the $47, I think it's worth it. And I really think that's a low price for what he's offering. So anyway, well, and we should really put that as a challenge for the show.
Yeah.
Any speaker who downloads it, if you don't get booked to speak
In 30 days.
in 30 days, I love this. Okay. So no more
30-day challenge. You got to get booked to speak within 30 days of using the guide.
I love it. I love this. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go try it because I haven't been speaking. I've only been doing online stuff. So let me see if I can use it to go get go get booked. Anyway, well, and everyone who's listening to the show, if you're loving the show and loving the guests that we have on it, give us some love. We try to give love to you. So we'd love to have love back. You can do that by just giving us 5-star ratings. Whether you're in Apple or wherever you're in Spotify or wherever you happen to be listening to us, please, we'd love those 5-star ratings. That's what helps us get our show out there to more speakers. Please share it with your speaker friends. And if you have an idea for the show and you want to be on the show, or you feel like you have a question you want to ask us, you can go to speakershowandtell.com. And we have a get involved button you can hit, and then you can pick any one of the 4 ways to get involved with the show. But we just I love having guests like Sean. Oh my goodness, like you're amazing, Sean. Thank you. If you have not watched his TEDx on how to hack your brain, I encourage you to go do it. Watch it several times because there's a formula to what he does. And I haven't watched the other one yet, so I'm going to go and watch that one as well. But anyway, go look at the stuff because all the things that I think TEDx speakers offer real value in the fact that when you're doing a TEDx talk, there's a way that you do it and there's a formula to it. And if you just watch it for the formula, but the information happened to be really good. So I always watch it the first time just to get the information and then go back and look at the formula. But watch it a few times and give them some love, like it. And wherever you happen to, I saw it on YouTube. And so make sure you give him some love as well. Well, I adore you. I think you are amazing. I want to come to Salt Lake City just to come meet you in person, or we'll have to figure out where you're going to go and connect. I always love to connect live. A friend of mine used to say, no matter how much we click from place to place, that nothing can replace face to face. And I think that's so true. There's just something about, and I always say I'm a hugger. I love to hug everybody, and so it's hard to hug people virtually. But I'll give you a hug virtually so that you feel a little.
Well, I sent you a friend request on Facebook, so
I love it. Oh my gosh, we were not friends before. That's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, we had messaged back and forth, and
I know.
So.
All right. Well, thank you, Sean. I'm so grateful to have you here, and I hope everyone goes and gets your 30-day challenge to get booked to speak, because that's pretty cool. So, well, thank you again, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the flip side, as I say. And we're just going to wrap up the show here. So today we have Sean talking about TEDx, 3 times TEDx speaker, guys. This is a guy that knows how to get speaking engagements. He trains speakers on how to do it. I learned so much from him even before we got on the show, because I realized I was not clear about what I'm speaking about. And a lot of it's just because I'm not speaking, but I guess I'm speaking on podcasts. So, but I want everyone to think about this, is that to think about a startling way, a fact or a question that you can ask before you start to speak. So don't introduce yourself, just get right into it. And then Google whatever topic that you happen to be around plus TEDx and see where there might be some TEDx things that you can get involved with. So that's it. That is the show. I'm so excited to have you guys part of the show. Again, make sure you give us that 5-star rating. If you're finding value in our show, we've had lots of people get back to us telling us that this is like the show that they love listening to or watching, because we do bring on things, people, guests, and we have topics that actually grow your business as a speaker. And we're learning from people who have actually done it. That's the thing I love. I love the fact that it's people who've actually done it. So anyway, I'm so excited. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next show. So make it great, and I'll see you on the flip side.
You've been listening to Speaker Show and Tell. Eric and Sabrina have spoken on all types of stages and have easily done over 2,000 speaking engagements. They understand the strategy, the sales, and the marketing of the speaking business. Plus, they have on the pros that have done it, pros that have gone through the same struggles as you and created massive results. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope you've gotten something from it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, find us on social media at Speaker Show and Tell. Thanks for being here, and we'll catch you next time.